evening. Good evening. Welcome back this week to Balancing the Scales of Justice. I'm glad to have you all here and watching our show and viewing our show this evening. I'm Shirley Millwood. I am an attorney in Calhoun County. My office is in Alexandria, Millwood Law Firm. I've been in practice at Millwood Law Firm since, 15 and a half years, however long, 14 and a half years. It's been forever. Anyway, I've been in the legal field for 26 years. And so we come to you each week and try to provide some input and some insight from the legal field and from the court systems and just everybody somewhere, either you personally or you know someone who is dealing with the court system in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and maybe not even necessarily dealing with the court system, as you know, you might need a will or a power of attorney or things of that sort, but generally there is someone somewhere that needs some legal assistance and needs an attorney to help them navigate the legal field and navigate the court system and any legal processes they may have going on. So anyway, just try to come to you each week and provide you a little bit of insight. It's not, the information that we provide is not case specific, as the facts of each case are different. And so there are always going to be laws that are going to affect each case differently based upon the facts of those cases. But if we can give you a general overview of some things to just kind of help you with some of those general questions, then that's what I try to do and make that available to you all. So if you all have any questions that you would like to have answered, if you'll please submit those to the show. We'll be glad to talk to you about those on the next show that we come in and have, or the next couple of shows, whichever one it may be. But anyway, submit those questions and we'll be glad to help answer it and try to give you some guidance and help you to navigate some of the issues you may be going through. Thank you all for being here, and tonight I have guests with me, and thank you all for being here. Thank you both for being here with me this evening. I appreciate it, and I'm so glad you're here. And we have Ashley and we have Joseph.
Yeah.
And if y'all want to take a moment, Ashley, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So we're new here in Oxford, Alabama. We just moved here about 8 months ago. We just opened up a new jewelry store, 1330 Berry Street. It's called All Around Ashley's.
And they have a lot of gorgeous things.
Yes. Shirley actually came and shopped with us. We sell a lot of men's and women's jewelry and accessories. I also do my notary out of there. So again, we've been here about 7-8 months, and we absolutely love Oxford, Alabama. I actually met Shirley at my grand opening, and since then we've been good friends, and I've got to follow her and see the amazing things she does, and we're happy to be here today.
Yeah, and also we have Notary that my wife does out of the shop. We have men's watches, men's rings also for the men out there. You can bring and come in with your lady and get you a good gift for yourself. Like she said, we just opened up a shop on 1330 Berry Street. We sell also candles. We sell hair accessories for women, glasses, sunglasses. You know, spring and summer is coming around. So we sell just a little bit of everything. Even the ambiance is very beautiful. Just the way the atmosphere feels. You know, come down, get a cup of coffee, sit down, chat with us, and get you a little piece. You know.
And I will say, like, y'all have the coolest vibe.
Yeah.
It's really cool vibe for a jewelry store. I like it.
Yeah.
And you're all about Ashley, and you're on Berry Street. So just kind of break that down for us a little bit. Coming off of 78, turn beside
right
Sonic.
There, by the Sonics.
In Oxford Lumber.
And behind, yes, yep.
Okay, and so you turn there onto that's Berry Street, and then what, maybe a half a mile?
Yeah, about a half a mile.
We're Building C, 1330 Building C.
Right on the corner.
Yep,
right there
so they're right there on the left, and I'll tell you what, the first time I went in there, as Ashley said, came in for a ribbon cutting.
Yep.
And I looked around in the store and I was just so impressed with everything and impressed with the jewelry. And you've got a lot of beautiful pieces.
Thank you.
And even Joseph, I was impressed with you because you're just as involved as Ashley is.
Yes.
I am.
You know, you say, well, it's her business, but then when I'm in there, like you're all, you're all involved in it.
They say two is better than one. You know, you can stay warm with two, and then at one you get cold. So I'm always keeping her warm, and we built this business from the ground up.
And so what inspired you to do this?
Well, back in Columbus, Ohio, I used to sell jewelry online. So once I came down here, I said, you know what? My mom said before she passed away, why don't you open up a store? You know, you're so good at it, and you're so good online. But it's when the people meet you, because we actually in Columbus, we would go out and we would deliver it ourselves, and shipping. But and then people kind of just fell in love with us because as a couple. So she said, open you guys up a store because you're such people person, you know, customer service is good and stuff. So we was like, you know what, let's try it. And then also we decided he was doing his pools. He does pool services in Columbus. So he said it's also a good thing that, like, when he has meetings here with people, he also uses All Around Ashley's for, like, his pools.
Oh, good.
So he'll do, like, meet and greets and, you know, give, what would you call it, your quotes and stuff.
Yeah.
So you
pools.
run your pool business out of there to some extent.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just for advertisement. We have cars there. You know, I do liners, chemicals, you know, pumps, filters, things of that nature. I put in ground liners, above ground pools. We do leveling jobs. I just don't do in ground pool assembly, but anything above ground, I can do it. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
So we know someone who has
Pool, he's got his LLC.
installed the above ground pools.
I do the installation of above ground pools. I just don't have the equipment to do in ground. So.
All right, so you don't install in-ground pools, but
Yeah.
if I needed someone to come and maintain my
I can
in-ground
do
pool,
that.
can you
Liner,
maintain my
I
in-ground
I can put a
pool?
liner in there for you. I can run the piping. I can do all that. Change your
Chemicals.
sand out to your filters and things like that.
So you can maintain it.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
just can't
I just
do
don't
the
have
initial
heavy,
install.
Exactly, because we just moved
Fantastic.
down here from
Yeah.
Ohio, so we don't have the heavy equipment to do that right now.
Right,
Yep.
fantastic.
Yep.
And what made y'all decide to want to move to Alabama? I'm always intrigued because I'm a lifelong resident of Calhoun County.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
And there have been times where, you know, I've said, oh, I'm moving. No, this was years and years ago before I ever started practicing law, but I was like, oh, I'm moving out of here. I'm going to move away.
Yep.
And
I'll right back.
and there was only one time that I actually had a plan. Like, I was planning on moving to Robertsdale, so I wanted to move to the beach.
Yeah.
And my aunt and uncle live in Robertsdale, and so they were going to help me with my children, and you know, while I worked and went to school and that kind of thing. And so I was going to move there, and went down, got a job at a law firm down in Mobile, had everything lined up, and then I didn't do it. I didn't follow through.
Came right back.
And so I never even, like, that was it. That was as far as I got with that, but
Yeah.
never moved. I've been here. So I'm always intrigued when we have, when I
Right.
meet new friends who
Yeah.
are, you know, not from Alabama and you've moved here, like,
Yeah.
what made you interested in being in Alabama?
Well, it was actually, he had nothing to do with it, but as my biggest supporter, he said, let's go.
Yeah.
So when my mother passed away, this was actually her retirement plan. She wanted to move down here with her grandbabies and my sister, and she was going to eventually get me to come, but we've built so much in Columbus. So again, as with her passing, she said that, you know what, I think you should follow my dream and you should move closer to your family. I have a sister down here. I have my nephews down here.
Yeah.
But also, it's just the fact that Oxford is so great with their school systems.
Yes.
We have a 2- and 4-year-old. So them to move out of such a high volume city in Columbus, Ohio, and move somewhere here like Oxford, it's more of like a country town, more family setting, more just more appropriate for a family of 4. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and follow her steps. We came to Oxford, bought a home in Oxford, and this is where we love it. We don't plan on, he says this is where we're just going to be. We just don't plan on, you know, and it's around you can go to Atlanta, you can go up to the shores, you're just like in the middle of everything, but this is like, the middle's like home.
And that's
Calhoun
why-
County.
And now you understand and probably have a greater appreciation for the
Yes.
song "Sweet Home Alabama."
Exactly.
Like now you
Yes.
understand why
We
it's
was
called
singing
"Sweet
it.
Home Alabama."
Yes.
There's
So
a
can I
reason for that.
piggyback on that for a second too?
Yeah.
Just the people here are better. Even the police here. I mean, I got to give them a big shout out because
Very
you know the
respectful.
police out here get a bad rap, you know, around America. You know,
Right.
and the police here I've ran into and had a encounter with them, and they're just awesome. You know, the people here are awesome. I've seen a frowning face out here so far, and just in my opinion,
Hospitality is Southern, and it
the
is here.
hospitality is on a different level, and the crime is low. You can walk your dog and don't have to worry about nothing crazy really happening. So it's just a better atmosphere for us from when we came from.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we're glad to have y'all here, and welcome to Alabama.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
So we were talking earlier, and I think y'all went to J.C.A.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just intrigued that we're surrounded by, Talladega National Forest and J.C.A. Mountain, and we love to camp. We love to fish.
I do. I'm not a fisher, but I love to camp.
We are just we're like the outdoor couple. We do bike riding. We went up on that. What's that mountain?
Coldwater, that
Coldwater Mountain.
But they had a mountain up there, and you can grill out up there.
And you can bike ride, and there's trails,
start a little fire.
Nice.
There's just so much to do around here.
Yeah.
It's nature-wise. That's amazing. So we are definitely enjoying it. We're planning more trips, and again, the kiddos they love it too. So it's a lot for children to do with these places too. So.
And you were talking about the like Oxford being a small town, and so for me, like living in Ohatchee, I'm in a one red light town.
Yeah.
So this is big. And
So to me, like Oxford's our big city close by, Anniston and Oxford, because and Jacksonville's growing too with the university.
Yes.
I mean, it's a continuous. Excuse me. Thankfully, that's a continuous growth at JSU.
Right.
But anyway, so I come to Oxford, and it's like big city living for me.
Yeah. We've heard that a couple people. She mentioned that here, I think it's 22,000 or close to that.
Right.
And she's like, well, where we come from, it's like 8,000. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, we're like over hundreds of thousands in Columbus. But so to us, it's very, very small, but it's perfect. But to, like you said, they're like, hey, this is considered a big city, and Oxford is growing and it's expanding. Yeah. We definitely heard, like my sister said, from where she started 15 years ago to now, all of this stuff's being built around, and it's probably going to get bigger, the way things are. But
and I just saw the buzz last week where Oxford's planning on building a children's art museum.
Oh wow!
That's amazing.
Yes, arts museum of science, something of that sort. I don't want to misquote it, but it's I get the Buzz weekly newsletter. If y'all haven't signed up for that, you can go to the Oxford's webpage, and you can sign up for their weekly newsletter.
Yeah.
And they'll send you a weekly newsletter, and you can keep up with what's happening around town.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can also do the same thing for the city of Anniston. They'll send you a weekly. I think theirs is weekly newsletter also.
Yeah.
Of what's going on. And anyway, but so there's a lot of things around here to do. And I know we have other people that come from big cities, and they're like, oh, there's just not that much to do here. But you've got to have a love for nature.
You do.
And an appreciation for that Southern hospitality.
Absolutely.
And to
never
be
leave.
here. But
Right.
but I tell you, it is Calhoun County is the greatest place to raise a family.
And with it being small, it's almost like one big community family. Like I met you, and then I've met people that it's amazing. And there's so many things to do here in Calhoun County, like the Rotary Club.
Right.
Like I met her through Shirley, and it's just I like it because it's almost like we're all connected.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
It still has that old time feel too, that old time vibe, where you can sit back and drink a cup of coffee and just look at the deers run, and you don't have that worrying,
That
In a
country
big city,
vibe.
you just worrying and running, and here you just sit back and just enjoy your tea and your coffee and say all is well.
So nice.
Yeah.
We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes and continue chatting with Joseph and Ashley. Welcome back to Balancing the Scales of Justice. Here with Ashley and Joseph and Ashley McCann, and we were talking about their love of Calhoun County, and so I'm glad that y'all been here 8 months, and you're loving it as much as I do, and I've been here my whole life, so that's a wonderful thing. And Ashley, you were talking about Rotary. There are a lot of civic organizations in our county. And there are also a lot of boards of nonprofit organizations and things that everybody comes together to just try to plug in and help the community. When we're able to identify a need for the community, to try to plug in and help and fill that void and fill that need. But something else you had talked about or that you provide is, well, before I get into this, I have to say, because I forgot earlier, You make a mean banana pudding.
I do.
Oh,
I do. Did you enjoy
his
that?
famous
sure
banana
did.
pudding. Yes.
Yes. He made them and had them there the day that I came in,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, I've got to try that." It was
Yeah.
so good.
We
Yes.
was actually selling them, but we just gave them away to everybody.
Did you?
Yeah, just to.
So is that something you're going to continue doing?
Fridays.
On Fridays.
I got him doing it on Fridays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So every Friday we can come to All About
And get
Ashley
your banana pudding.
and get us a banana pudding.
Yes,
And,
ma'am.
Y'all, you've got to try it. It's so good.
Yes.
You will not regret it. I promise.
Very good.
And my hands are clean too, so I just got to put that out there.
Very good.
And so you provide notary services
Yes.
at All About Ashley. So we've got Joseph has his pool business, and then you've got the jewelry store, and both of y'all were working in that jewelry store. And then you also have your notary services. So tell us about when did you become a notary?
I became a notary November, I want to say 4th, a couple days for my birthday, 2023, down here.
And, I kind of want to think that everybody kind of knows what a notary is or understands it, but there are people who don't. They don't understand. So would you tell us or tell the audience, like, what is a notary and what's the purpose of being a notary public and what you do?
Well, what we do different types of documents. I do know a lot of banks now, they don't do certain type of documents. So usually around Calhoun County, I do a lot of power of attorneys. We do a lot of titles, boat titles, car titles. That's actually a big one here in Calhoun County.
Really?
Wills, just any type of document that would need notarized for your work, for medical papers. So notaries do a lot.
And the purpose of a notary, I'll give you from an attorney's perspective,
Okay.
is whenever we sign a legal document, that legal document, most all legal documents, not every one of them, but the majority of them, the person who signs that legal document, their signature must be notarized by a notary public. And to become a notary public, what did you have to do, Ashley, to become a notary public?
Well, now I know it's different. They've changed it a little bit.
Yeah, the new laws became effective in, I think it was September of 23.
Yes.
I know there was a new notary act that came out last year. I want to say it became effective in September 23. I could be off a month or two on that. But anyhow, you came in after the new notary laws became effective.
Yes.
Yep.
So what did you have to do to become a notary public?
Well, to become a notary, I had to go down to the probate court and spoke with the lady. You have to go through a background check and then federal, and then they send you it's like a letter in the mail now, and you have to go online and actually do a class. And then once you pass that class, you get a certificate, and then once you get that certificate, you'll go down to the probate, and then your judge will give you your license. But I mean, they have to acknowledge that everything's good. So you do have to do a class now, and you do have to get a certificate online.
Okay. I became a notary in 1998.
Okay.
So it's, I can't even calculate how many years that has been, 20-something years, I would say.
Right.
Anyway, and we didn't have to take that class
Yeah.
because that's the new thing that just became effective. However, being an attorney and being in the legal field for 26 years, I do understand the need for that training
Yes.
class, and I do appreciate that has now become a requirement.
Yes.
Because all too often we've had people to become notaries and not really understand their obligations. And as a notary, if you don't understand what you're doing, it's very easy to make a mistake.
Yes.
And a mistake that could result in criminal or civil penalties, or charges or things of that sort. But also, you have to have a surety bond.
Yes.
And I want to say when I first became a notary in 1998, my surety bond, I think the requirement was $10,000.
Now it's 50,000.
Okay. I was going to say,
They did raise it,
at some point it increased to 25.
and then now it's 50.
Because I've had to renew like every 4 years.
That's every 4 years. Yes.
And I'm currently still a notary, but that may expire, I may
Right.
not renew mine. We'll see. We'll determine how the future goes.
Right.
But anyhow, so I've notarized, oh my gosh,
Yes.
tens of thousands of signatures over my lifetime.
Right.
But anyway, so you take the training class, and then you said they get that certificate, and then when do you get your surety bond?
Well, they want you to turn that back in before everything. So,
Like before you take the class or after you take the class?
well, you have to. Well, no, you take your class first. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You take your class, and then when you you'll get your score, and then once you're approved and everything, you print that off, and then they'll send you a certificate, which is 24 hours later. You print that off, and then you take that, and then that's how you prove that you can get your bond. And then once you get that, you take everything back down to the probate.
Where did you go to get your surety bond?
I actually went to State Farm.
State Farm.
Okay.
Yep.
So just
By the
a local,
mushroom, the pizza mushroom.
Okay.
State Farm, I believe.
Yes.
We still trying to figure it out.
We're still trying to figure
Mellow
everything out.
mushroom?
Locations.
Thank you. Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Right across, so at State Farm.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, you get your surety bond through an insurance carrier.
Yes.
And there are several insurance carriers in our county that people can go and get their surety bond through. And there's an application that you have to fill out with them as well.
Yes.
Because I know to be bonded, they do a background check, and they actually even do a credit score check, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
Yes.
And they check your credit and things of that sort. So I know bankruptcies and any delinquent charges, judgments, liens, things of that will affect
You have to have a high.
whether or not you
Credit,
can
yeah.
become bonded in order to be a notary. So once you get your bond, then you take your bond to the probate judge and provide that with the certificate and all of those other documents, and then she'll issue your notary.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic.
Yep.
Do you keep a log?
I do. I keep a journal. So she recommended now, just with everything. I mean, the world's progressing, so there's a lot more things that people try to get away with. So being a notary, you have to be really careful. So we actually have a journal, and then we have a log. So our journal, what we do fingerprints. We take down all the information of the IDs. And then with our log, we'll print off the IDs, and then we'll put it with their receipt, and we kind of just make like a folder to match the journal.
Okay.
And I just like it that way, because if anything was to come, I have everything and every information right there. So.
And I will tell you, as a lawyer, we've had, I've been involved in will contest cases where someone was disputing whether or not a will was actually signed by the testator or the testatrix. And for a will to be valid, the testator or testatrix signs it in the presence of two witnesses and the notary. And
Yes.
so the notary has to notarize those signatures on that document. And so in will contest cases, especially, and there are other cases as well, but just the one that comes to mind
Right.
is the will contest where, they've come in and said, well, we don't think that, so-and-so signed this will. And so then we had to subpoena the two witnesses and the notary
Yes.
that came in and said, yes, I observed this person signing this, and I observed, as a notary, I observed these two witnesses
Right.
plus the testator or testatrix signing this document. And so you come in and testify to that. And so from my perspective, that is why that journal and that log is
Yes.
so important, is if you end up in a situation like that.
Yes.
And another thing that I do when I'm notarizing documents, I'll make a little note. But this has just kind of come from being an attorney. When I have someone that comes in and they need a will, I will have conversations with them that are just kind of general conversations about
Yes.
their children, their grandchildren,
Exactly.
things that they enjoy doing, especially if I have any concern or any reason to suspect that maybe this person may not understand what they're doing. Maybe they're starting to, their memory's slipping on
Yes.
them. And so I'll have a lot of conversations with them, like asking them who the president is and the last president and
Yep.
governor, just a lot of questions like that that aren't necessarily relevant to what I'm doing
Exactly.
for them.
Just to see.
But
Absolutely.
But I jot notes on that. And then that way, if I'm ever called to court to testify, I go back and I pull my notes. And when I get to court and testify, I can say, here's something about fishing on Neely Henry,
Exactly.
and I don't remember exactly what we talked about, but I remember us having this conversation about this. But sometimes just those key words will also jar your memory.
Right.
And then you can say, oh yeah, I remember we were talking about that. He and his grandson were on the boat, and
Absolutely.
whatever. It'll kind of jar your memory to those conversations. And so those are important, because
They
if you're
are.
called to testify, then you can also give those extra little tidbits of information
Yes.
about that conversation you had with that person that will help the court, whether it's the court or whether it's the judge or the jury,
Right.
to help them to understand that, hey, you actually had a conversation with this person,
Yeah.
so just based on that, there's an inference that they seem to know what they were talking about, or at least like from my perspective, I'm satisfied that that person was in the right mind and capable of making those legal decisions.
Exactly, because a lot of like the POAs, you're doing it because they're starting to lose memory loss and stuff. So, but it's good too with the journals because they also have they have an area where you put your witnesses, but underneath now these new journals they'll have like you said notes, but it'll say comments. And as you're like you said, that's what we do. We talk to them and try to see, was you programmed to say this, or do you know a little bit more about what's going on in life? And then you can just jot down in the comment section.
Good.
And then they'll put it with the person, and then you'll know if you would get called to court. Hey, this is, he knew quite a bit, so.
Well, good.
That is
That's
good.
A good deal.
That is
good. And so how much do you charge for your notary services?
It's just different prices.
Is it kind of based on the document or whether
Yeah.
you have
Also
to
traveling too.
Now I was
'Cause
about to
she's
say,
a
do you
traveling
travel
notary.
to other
Yes.
people?
Well,
Okay.
I started off as a mobile notary, but now it just seems that a lot of people just want to come to All Around Ashley's because you'll get people that'll call and it's like, hey, can you get this title real quick? But you got jewelry, right?
Yes.
So they'll want to come in and shop as they're getting their notary stuff done. So
Fantastic.
I wouldn't charge 10, 20 extra for the mobile, to go to them.
It
So
just varies with
a lot
So
of
it's
people
going to
like
depend on the service.
Exactly.
If
Yeah.
you're going to them or they're coming to you, and,
Yeah.
and if you're having to meet them there after hours or on a weekend when
because
they're
I am
not
24
open.
hours and I do weekends here in Calhoun
There
County.
you go. Fantastic. girl. So if you need a
believe-
notary service, who do we call?
You call it's Ashley A Mobile Notary. I'm on Google. You can look me up that way.
What's your telephone number?
Yeah, great.
Just give me your 64 number.
Well, it's in my cell phone. I'm
Okay.
so sorry. It's a new number because we switched from Ohio here to Calhoun County, so it is a new number. But
So sorry, we're not going to provide you that, but the address is Berry Street
Yeah.
and you're Suite C.
yes,
Sweet
but
Okay.
I do my notary out of All Around Ashley. So
There
if
you
you
go.
Google All Around Ashley's or Ashley A Mobile Notary, the numbers will pop up
Yeah.
on Google.
And also find them on Facebook.
Facebook.
Ashley McCann is on Facebook. Yes.
But I'm under Ashley Austin
Ashley
on
Austin.
Facebook.
I'm so sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yo, look, thank you for being with us this week.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm rushing
No,
us
no,
down.
no,
I
really
told you this
enjoyed it.
time just
Yeah.
flies
It
by so
does.
fast.
It did.
But thank y'all for tuning in with us this week.
Thank
and
you.
I think we're wrapping up this show and looking forward to coming back next week and bringing you some more valuable information next week. You all have a great evening. Any last words?
Just thank you for having
Thanks
us.
for having us
and
out.
It was a blessing to be here.
Yes.
Enjoyed it very much so.
Yes. Thank you.
It was great.